Take your place in the Coaching Lounge. Be inspired by discussions with motivational guests, compelling speakers, key people of influence, and models of success. Learn unique processes, strategies, and tips that will transform your life. Tune into previous episodes on www.thecoachinglounge.co.uk. Like our page on Facebook via The Coaching Lounge. Follow us on Twitter @SatelliteCoach. Thank you for joining your host, Rebecca Gordon, in The Coaching Lounge. Tune in, relax, engage, and transform your life now. I'm Rebecca Gordon, host of The Coaching Lounge. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Shelly Persad, who is with us all the way from the United States. Our discussion today will be on a topic that has existed since time began, yet can be considered to be a taboo subject that we get highly embarrassed about, can be quite ignorant about, yet it's a topic that is worthy of open discussion. Dr. Shelly Persad is a world-renowned sex and relationship expert, author and speaker who helps men, women and couples get the relationship and sex life they've always wanted but didn't know was possible. Dr. Shelly is the founder of Orgasmical Medicine, and her work is a blend of ancient wisdom and techniques with modern-day science and research, topped with an extra dose of sexiness. She's been featured on CBS as well as interviewed on numerous radio shows, popular online blogs, and has a book that's soon to be released, or books I should say, that are soon to be released. And Dr. Shelly is the co-author of The Energy of Happiness, and that will be published in late 2014. We'll ask Dr. Shelly more about that. And she has her very own book series to be published in 2015. We will be sharing Dr. Shelly's website address because there are lots of tools that you can access, which are fantastic tools both for men and women. It's important to say that Dr. Shelly is not all about sex and orgasms, but she's about helping people to redesign their relationship and sex life to make you go, wow. So we're going to get straight in and talk about sex. Specifically, the focus for today is on how women can make the shift from female sexual dysfunction to female sexual power. Dr. Shelly, welcome to the Coaching Lounge.
Why, thank you, gorgeous Rebecca. That was quite the lovely introduction there. I'm so happy and proud to be here with you today.
We are delighted for you to be joining us here in the Coaching Lounge. And where are you in the States? Can you remind me, please?
Yes, I am in hot Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, now you're making me jealous because it's quite cool here today in Birmingham, but let's just say sunny Birmingham for the next hour or so, which it will be with the conversation we're going to have. Now, we met on Facebook, and I remember seeing your Facebook page and then looking at your website and thinking, wow, I want to know more about what Dr. Shelly has to talk about. And I know you've gone through some rebranding, but your focus at the time was orgasmical medicine. Why did you create that, Dr. Shelly?
Well, I am a chiropractor, and looking at the chiropractic philosophy, this concept that any interference basically inhibits our life expression, our full potential. So the chiropractic approach that I utilized when I was a chiropractor and throughout school actually awoke this energy inside of my body, which is what I now call sexual energy, because I ended up having these full body healing, deep orgasms on the chiropractic table when I would receive care. And I started looking at that over the years. After I stopped practicing, I really moved more into coaching women on feminine issues, body image issues, relationships, sexuality, money issues even. And I started realizing that there was a common theme, and a lot of it went back to women and their femininity and their sexuality. So taking And looking back at my life, I'm all about looking at awarenesses and seeing, well, what can I learn from this? What do I know? And how can I translate that to women that I can help? And I started piecing the pieces of the puzzle together. I've studied multiple modalities and techniques since chiropractic. And I started realizing that the sexual energy is the most powerful and healing energy known to man. Yet because it is taboo, it has become a repression in our body. Therefore, it's the interference that I talked about in this chiropractic philosophy that is inhibiting our full potential as a being, as a sexual being, as a wife, as a husband, as a lover, as a mother, as a father. We're inhibiting our full potential in this life form, in this reality that we're living in. And sexual energy, like you mentioned in my bio, is not just about sex and orgasms. Your sexual energy is the force of your creativity. It can be a drive for more motivation, for success, to create more money, wealth, and abundance. There's so many uses for sexual energy, and I started realizing that nobody's talking about it. So I decided to step up to the plate, and blending in the chiropractic background, I came up with Orgasmical Medicine, because truly this sexual energy releases this orgasmical feeling inside of your body, that pleasure, bliss, ecstasy. And that truly is the medicine that you can use to heal all areas of your life, your body, your mind, your spirit, and areas of your life, your financial areas, your relationship difficulties, body image issues and weight, everything. So therefore, it truly is orgasmical medicine.
Right, okay. And is it fair to say that it's women who are a bit more hung up about sex than men, or from your experience, what's the proportion?
Well, there's different hangups for men and women. In terms of being able to have an orgasm and actually enjoy pleasure, women have a lot more hangups because we're so much in our mind, we're pushing our pleasure far away from us. We're also living in a very masculine dominant society, so more and more women are becoming independent, climbing the corporate ladder, feeling like we can do it all. We're super women. So we take on that masculine energy, and that energy is a very linear, logical, analytical energy where we're always do, and we're always caught up in the mind of what we have to do. So that mile-long laundry list of to-dos, that literally pushes away our pleasure. So there's actual studies showing that your brain has to shut down for you to reach orgasm. And that part of your brain that actually shuts down it regulates control, fear, and anxiety. So if there's any control of the situation, I know a lot of women, a woman emailed me this morning about she doesn't like orgasm because she feels like she's giving up control of her body and she doesn't want to let go. So we literally are holding on to any kind of control, fear, and anxiety. It could be fear about our body image issues. 46% of women can't have an orgasm or struggle getting there because of their body image issues or lack of self-esteem or confidence or just feeling good in their own skin. So whatever we are worried about, whatever stress we may have going on that's at the front of our mind, or maybe it's just being a mother. We have to take care of the kids. We got to get them lunch ready. We got to get them ready for school. We got to do this. We got to do that. Then we got to take care of our business, and we got to make money, especially if we're a single mother. We got to provide. So all of that pushes away our pleasure. So overall,
it can be hard to let go, can't it, when there's so much things going on and you're spinning all the plates in the air.
Oh, yes. And women just need to remind themselves that part of being feminine is to just relax and let go and surrender to what is, and to step out of that crazy rat race of the masculine mind.
Okay, interesting. And so if we can just focus on women, just to identify, why does female sexual dysfunction exist? You talked a little bit about that, but can you tell us a little bit more in how it transpires for women, what it is?
Absolutely. So the medical community, let's address this first. They have they've coined the term female sexual dysfunction so that they can create a drug. It's not actually a real disease. There's multiple websites out there, including Mayo Clinic, WebMD.com, and a lot of other sex experts who are also talking about sexual dysfunction being a psychological issue. Again, it all goes back to any kind of difficulties we're having in our life or our mental blocks. However, the medical communities are trying to create a drug to quote unquote fix this dysfunction, when really it's not a dysfunction. It's more of something that we're imposing on ourselves. We're creating those mental blocks. We're staying in our mind. We don't know how to let go, relax, and be present. And all of these are, again, able to be fixed and cured by us. The cure is within you. It's not outside of you. So female sexual dysfunction is not a quote unquote real disease, but it is an issue, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue. I would say close to 43 to 46 to 50% of women, right in that 40 to 50% range of women, experience some level of female sexual dysfunction. And what that may entail is everything from feeling like they can't have an orgasm quick enough. So it may take them 45 minutes to an hour and they feel like something's wrong with them because they can't reach orgasm quick enough. It could be that they don't get wet enough, so they don't feel like they have a libido or a sex drive. They just don't feel like they're in the mood. Their body's not turned on. They may have anxiety before sex. They may struggle reaching orgasm. They may only be able to have a clitoral orgasm. They may not like vaginal stimulation at all, or even penetration. So I've had a lot of women approach me because they either can't have an orgasm vaginally, or they just don't like penetration and they feel like something is wrong with them. So there's multiple levels of severity of female sexual dysfunction, but again, oftentimes it goes back to those psychological issues. I don't like calling them issues, but for lack of better terms, that's what it is.
Yes.
And then there's this other area that I kind of like to talk about, and I call it issues in your tissues, because it's got a nice little ring to it. But it's true. And have you heard of like Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Bruce Lipton has written The Biology of Belief, which is a fantastic book, isn't it?
I love it. I live by it. But let's take his concepts in that book and apply it to our vagina. Our vagina holds the tissues of our vagina. They hold all of our beliefs, our repression, any fear, any traumatization we've incurred with having sex. You know, even if our body's not ready to have sex and let's say a man came along and penetrated it, that feels like on a tissue level abuse. So our body starts shutting down and our vaginal tissues hold on to all of these beliefs, trauma, victimization, all of our repression, all of our fears of letting go, of being a freak in the bed. What is somebody going to think of me? The fear of judgment, or just not owning our sexuality. So all of that gets stored in our tissues, just like Dr. Bruce Lipton said. Our thoughts, feelings, and emotions and beliefs intersect our cells and change the shape of our cells from spherical, which is a state of ease, to elliptical, which is a state of dis-ease.
Okay. So we're talking about the transference of the emotion to the biological aspect of the self. It's a cellular function, really, which just works through the body.
Exactly. And, you know, our vagina it's like a flower. And if it's holding on to any kind of, you know, trauma, issues, scar tissue, it's not going to totally open up and receive, you know, the sunlight or, you know, the presence and the love from somebody else, from a partner, from a lover. If it's holding on to issues, it's kind of like our heart. And it's interesting that it's like our heart because there's actually an electromagnetic rod that goes between our heart and our vagina. And for women, it's different for women than men. For women, our heart has to open first. That's the positive pole. And energy flows from positive, negative, and the vagina is the negative pole. So once the heart opens, energy flows to our vagina and then our vagina opens. But oftentimes, again, we women just go straight to the vagina and have sex without having our heart become open or without having even breast stimulation, because that can open our heart. Where for men, it's the opposite. Any kind of energy or awakening begins at their penis and then that opens their heart. So it kind of flows into that saying that men can just do sex and women need the emotions to do sex, because women need their heart open to do sex, where men can do sex and then in doing sex, their heart opens.
Right, because women are much more emotional about it than men. Men can be quite compartmentalized.
Very much so. They can do sex like watching a football game.
So this is actually why I wanted to interview you, Dr. Shelley, because I mean I'm learning a lot, in this first segment of the show, and the thing is that we actually need, I think it's fair to say, we need a whole new re-education, because what we know about sex could be from our parents, from what we watch on TV, which is not accurate at all, and it's about us understanding our bodies, understanding how the process works and how powerful it is and what it can give to us if we use it in the right way. So I absolutely love the fact that you've been bold, to do what you're doing. So thank you very much. And can you talk to us now about sexual fitness? What are some of the secrets for sexual fitness? Or would you say that there's more to discuss before we get there? In terms of opening the heart and being comfortable and letting go. Is there anything between that and sexual fitness that we need to be aware of?
You actually led right into it perfectly. The way we do sex it's an old model and it's not working. If we look at the way we do sex, a lot of people contract their muscles, they stop breathing, they force their orgasm into existence. So just the way we physically do sex is not the way that sex was designed to be done, which is why there are so many people who are sexually dissatisfied or have become desensitized or need extra stimulation through, porn addiction or, a lot of the heavy BDSM. They need that because their bodies are desensitized because they've disconnected from the way that we really enjoy sex. And I take it back to the way sex was done thousands and thousands of years ago. And a lot of my teachings are from Tantric and Taoist models where sexual energy was viewed as the fountain of youth. And it was a very cherished energy. It was a very sacred act. Today, sex is, I like to call it the wham bam thank you ma'am. Again, it's like
it can be quite mechanical, can't it?
Very much so. And again, people are not present, they're not breathing, they're not relaxing in the moment. They're trying to force the orgasm into existence. So it's become a very goal-oriented act instead of it just being like you and your lover are engaging in this dance where you have no investment in the outcome. You don't care if you reach orgasm or not. You're just there to enjoy pleasure for however long it may be. And when I tell people that sometimes my orgasms, which they're not the typical orgasms, they're not just clitoral, they're full body, they're waves of energy. It's like waves of different levels of orgasms. I can be in that.
Can I stop you right there and say I'm absolutely jealous right now? I hope that's okay to air with the audience.
Okay.
Actually, the thing is that there are so many women who may feel shortchanged and may feel, well, actually, just spent how long in this act and I'm still dissatisfied and, I want more and so forth. So, I think it's about being honest in how we're feeling and finding ways to express that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a couple different things there, and I hope I can remember my train of thought so I can touch on a couple things that you mentioned there. So one, more than half of couples are uncomfortable discussing sex. This act that they actually do with their partner, they cannot discuss it with their partner. So a lot of people are going unsatisfied because they're unwilling to express their sexual needs, wants, and desires. They're uncomfortable feeling like they can explore their sexual needs, wants, and desires with their partner. They're uncomfortable asking for what they want. And that's where for women, so there's a couple different things here. Women need to change the way they do sex and men need to change the way they do sex. And I like to say that women being feminine, they're like the ocean. The ocean is everywhere. So women have the power to actually be that guiding light for the men to change the way they do sex. So I view it as women opening the door and guiding and seducing the men through it and showing them a different way. Because oftentimes, again, we learn sex from our parents. We learn it from porn. We learn it from, talking to our friends, or we just think that this is the way to do it because you see it in movies. So if nobody's talking about, hey, I like this, I like that. What if we try that? Well, what if we try that? Nobody's actually exploring what else might be possible. They're just doing what they know is possible. And that right there is where we go wrong. We end at that end all be all, this is the way you do sex, instead of, hey, what is outside of this little bubble that we're in that we've decided is sex?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's about being comfortable with the person you're with, knowing that there's safety there in all aspects of safe sex and the safety of being with the partner, which is important to say, I think.
Very much so. And even if you want to go down that rabbit hole, for women to relax, they have to feel safe. There are so many scientific studies showing that a woman's nervous system has to feel safe for her to relax, for her brain to shut down, for her to surrender. So, and this comes, it's more than just the physical feeling of safe, but it really is an emotional and mental feeling of safe as well. And there's an energetic feeling of safe. And that comes in where that masculine feminine duo. So I know probably a lot of people joke that oftentimes, women keep pushing men, they nag, they push, they test, they challenge men. And what they're really doing in that behavior is to test men to see if they're safe to let go. They're testing to see how strong a man is in his masculinity, because the masculine is like an anchor. It's not going to move. It's not going to shake. It's literally unwavering. Where women, we're like the ocean. So we're everywhere. We're moving. We're flowing. So we need to feel safe that we have an anchor that if we need to, we can push it. We can, hold on to it, and it's going to be there and it's not going to move. Now, because so many women have become more masculine in nature due to jobs, due to society, due to being single mothers, due to being superwomen, we can do it all. Men have felt like, well, if you're being masculine, what do I be? So they've kind of become confused and they've given up their masculinity. And in doing so, they're no longer presenting this safe feeling for women to let go. So men have to own their masculinity to give women that feeling of safety so that women can surrender to them. They can let go, they can succumb, they can trust them. So it literally is like they have to feel like they can trust them enough to let go, and that the man is going to be there and hold them and support them.
Fantastic and fascinating, I must say. And just to recount what you said, women have the power to be the guiding light, and that is our natural, feminine power, which it's about harnessing and using it in the right way, which is, what your teachings transfer to your clients and to women who come to you.
Relax in the coaching lounge and engage with compelling, motivational speakers. Be prepared to transform your inner world to shape your outer world through empowering discussions. Tune into thecoachinglounge.co.uk now.
We are in the coaching lounge with Dr. Shelly Persad, and we are talking about sex. And specifically, we are exploring female sexual dysfunction to female sexual power. And already, Dr. Shelly has really raised excellent awareness of a subject which is quite taboo. And we are now going to move into the female power and talk about being sexually fit, being sexually confident, and sexual fitness. Dr. Shelley, can you tell us some of the secrets about that, please?
Absolutely. So sexual fitness, in my book, is really about exploring your sexuality, exploring the depths of it, getting to know who you are as a sexual being so that you literally can, as I call it, redesign your sex life, so that you can redefine what sex is, so that you can find out what you like, what you don't like, and literally create the sex life of your dreams, which may not look like the way everybody else on the planet is doing sex. And that's the point of anything that we do in our life. For instance, the way I create my life may be totally different than the way you create your life. But with sex, we've created it that one size fits all. This is the way you do sex. And that's really what sexual fitness is about. It's learning what you like, what you don't like, and creating a sex life through different exercises or sexercises that work for you, that give you the pleasure you desire, that give you the passion, the intimacy, whatever it is you're desiring in your sex life that you're not getting, to be able to give that to you. And we all have the power to create that. It's just a matter of overcoming the taboo.
Okay. So it's being open to try new things, to try different things, and to explore.
Exactly. So there's a couple of different levels depending where people are on their taboo level, how open their comfort zone is around sex. Oftentimes, beginner level with sexual fitness is really just retraining your body. In the act of sex, learning how to breathe, not stopping your breath, learning how to relax your muscles instead of contracting your muscles, learning how to let go of the need to reach orgasm and just being in that orgasmic energy. There's multiple other energetic and breathwork techniques that I give people either in my courses or in my books and stuff that they can start using in their sex life or even when they masturbate so that they can start learning how to take charge of their orgasms, take charge of their pleasure, and get more out of it.
Right. You've mentioned a word which I'm going to say, and this is not accurate, I'm feeling, because I was going to say normal, and the question is, what is normal? What is abnormal? Okay. But you've mentioned the word masturbation, and for a lot of people, that's not normal. So, in terms of sexual fitness, what's the link
So,
there?
masturbation is a wonderful tool for you to get to know your body. And if we look, and there's a lot of limiting beliefs there that repress people from actually masturbating because we've been taught that it's, not clean, it's dirty. Just go back to your childhood. What were you taught about masturbation? For little boys, if you look at the way they masturbate, this is the way the sex model has come about. Oftentimes they have to go into a bathroom or shut their bedroom door and rub one out real quick for fear that a brother or a father is going to come along and need the bathroom. So that's why they've become more of that wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of person or kind of lover. Where for girls, oftentimes we've been told, oh, that's dirty. That's where your pee-pee comes out. We have to lay in bed at night under the covers. So it's more of a hidden thing. And we also have to, girls start masturbating at a later age than boys do. Because again, our genitals are internal. Where boys look down and go, hey, what's that appendage down there? Oh, I'm going to touch it. Oh, that gives me pleasure. Oh, let me do it more. Where girls are like, I don't know what's down there. I heard it's dirty. I heard my pee-pee comes out of there. I don't know if I should touch it. Then they do. Then they're like, oh, that kind of feels good. I even had a client once who didn't know she had 3 holes until she was about 15 or 16 years old. So
it contributes to psychological barriers, doesn't
and
it?
that's really where it begins.
Yes.
So oftentimes I also encourage my clients to just go back over their childhood and start looking at what beliefs and programming they bought into, they were sold, they were told about sex, about masturbation, that's preventing them from really tapping into their full sexual potential today, that's holding them back. And that truly is what's holding them back. Those are the mental blocks, the subconscious blocks that oftentimes we don't even know are there.
Right. Okay. And then when we do work through that and we are wanting to develop our sexual power, you mentioned breathing. And in the sexual interaction or the act itself, how does meditation and orgasm correlate with each other?
Actually, they are just about one and the same. When you reach orgasm, your brain waves actually slow to that of a deep meditation. And one of my favorite tantric gurus is Osho. And you can actually look him up on YouTube. He has a ton of different videos where he speaks about all life topics, everything from sex and relationships to wealth and abundance to just living life and how we can live presently. And one of his favorite quotes of mine is, there are 2 times in your life when you are truly connected to source. Source being you, your source, your being, your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call you. And those 2 times in your life are at the time of laughter and the time of orgasm. Because when you are laughing, you are not worried about tomorrow's to-do list. You're not stressed about how much money you have in your bank account. You are present. You are in the moment. So your brain shuts down in that moment of laughter. Just like when you're having an orgasm, your brain shuts down. You're not trying to control the situation. You're not worried about your to-do list. You're not worried about how much money you have in your bank account. So your brain shuts down and you're connected to your source. You're connected to you. So you are in that deep meditative state. And that's why so many people are meditating today because they're trying to get to that place of just being connected to who they are, to shut off the monkey mind, to shut off the mind chatter, to really slow down and just be. And that's what we're all really looking for. And we can achieve that through our sex life.
Right. I interviewed someone, the laughter teacher she was, Mig Non-Braithwaite, and she spoke about laughter and how it's therapy, etc. And it would be fantastic to know, that we're using laughter and orgasm as the route to empowerment, to attract what you want, to feeling comfortable, etc. So if it is that we're going to be, we're talking about being happy, laughter, orgasm. And you did say earlier, the thing is to relax about it, not to think, oh, I want to have an orgasm, I want to reach an orgasm. So how can we help ourselves to be comfortable in moving into having an orgasm where it is just like laughter, where we're feeling naturally, what's the word? Where it's not so much of an effort then, where it seems more natural.
Yeah, one of the things that I tell my clients is that oftentimes we get caught up in the how. We're always trying to figure out, well, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? And in trying to figure out the how, we've activated the mind and we've pushed away us from actually just relaxing and being. We're in the doing stage. So it's almost like, look at the first time you tried to tie your shoe. Look at the first time you tried to drive a car. Oftentimes there was a lot of presence there. There was a lot of concentration and it felt like effort. But you were aware of everything around you because it was something new. So you literally had to learn how to drive the car, how to make sure you're turning on the blinkers, you're looking in your rearview mirror, you're aware of everybody around you. But then 10, 20 years of driving, you can drive down the road and before long you're like, wait, did I pass that building back there? So we check out, we're no longer present, our mind is active. So the only way to undo those 10 or 20 years of programming yourself to do something a certain way is to start implementing small little strategies in the way you do that every single time. So in every time that you engage in sex, just add one new technique or strategy and just play with that. And don't beat yourself up if you realize, okay, I'm trying to breathe, but now I'm really trying to figure out the how, which is keeping me not present. Like, just breathe. And so it's just practicing it over and over until you can really just, every time you engage in sex, it's like, oh, breathing is natural for me now. The same way driving a car is natural for you. So it's taking away the viewing it as work or effort. And that's one of the things that I hear a lot. People want the change overnight. They want that quick fix. And because it doesn't show up overnight, because we've programmed ourselves to do something a certain way for years on end, it's going to take a little bit of time of really implementing new tools, new ways, new strategies and techniques for you to start realizing, okay, this is now, I can do this on automatic pilot. I can be this new way effortlessly. It doesn't feel like effort or work anymore. So literally it is just practice.
Think big for a moment. If you could create your best life, how would this look? What if in just 30 minutes you had a plan of action to get closer to your dream? Make the impossible possible and claim your free session today. Visit www.satellitelifecoaching.com now.
We are in the coaching lounge with Dr. Shelly Persad, who's talking to us about sexual health, sexual fitness, and how we can move into a natural, effortless way of reaching orgasms, of feeling, in harmony with our sexual energy. And Dr. Shelly, what is vaginal fitness? If I were to ask you about vaginal fitness, how we can develop vaginal fitness.
Absolutely.
Can you share that with us, please?
So vaginal fitness it's really training our love muscles. It's exercises for our love muscles. And our love muscles are our pelvic floor muscles. And men and women have pelvic floor muscles. Oftentimes we're just not aware of them. Or if we are, we've heard of Kegels. We might do Kegels every now and then, but we're not actually partaking in a regular sexual fitness program. We're not training our weightlifting, as I like to call it, our pelvic floor muscles the way we are, say, our biceps or our quads. We're not taking them for a run, so to say. But our pelvic floor muscles are just like the muscles that we have from head to toe. They're just like every other muscle in our body. So oftentimes there's a lot of different studies showing for women that a weak pelvic floor leads to less orgasms, shorter orgasms, struggle reaching orgasm. So when women learn how to strengthen their pelvic floor muscles, they actually become more aware of their entire sexual center. So they may start realizing that, wow, I'm lubricating faster. I'm more turned on. I can actually control my orgasm, not in the sense of controlling it by contracting your muscles and, forcing it into existence, but you can actually feel like you can control the energy of your orgasm. You can actually become multi-orgasmic. You can tap into the 13 different types of orgasms when you become aware of your sexual energy. Because sexual energy is like this coiled snake that lives at your perineum, which sits between your vagina and anus for women and between the scrotum and anus for men. Because we're so repressed, that sexual energy is coiled up and it only comes out to play at the time of sex. Where when you're aware of your sexual center, it can come out to play all the time, and you can use that energy and direct it and channel it into other areas of your life, your work, your business, your relationships, making money. So for instance, if I am trying to create a flyer or write my book and I hit a creative block, oftentimes I'll go and I'll masturbate, or I'll just do one of my techniques to get that sexual energy flowing without needing to come to an orgasm. Oftentimes I just need to get the energy flowing and not even reach an orgasm. And then I come back to my computer and I sit down to write or create a flyer, and it just flows effortlessly. So for me, that is how I use my sexual energy to channel it into other areas of my life, to make my life go effortlessly, to make it go with total ease.
Okay, can I ask then, when we are with a partner, because you've given a good example of how one can harness energy to use constructively and productively, to get things done. So when you're with a partner, could it be that, I don't know, I'm asking the question, are we giving the energy away? Are we losing the energy? Or what's the way when you're with someone for that combined energy to be used
Absolutely.
in a similar way? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. So actually,
yes.
Our sexual energy is similar to our electromagnetic field of our heart. When we are near somebody else, our electromagnetic fields actually kind of coincide and intertwinkle, and it's almost like they do a dance. And that's the same way our sexual energy plays with another person's sexual energy. So, and this is the new way of doing sex that I'm discussing first. And I'll share with you a little bit about the whole giving away sexual energy, or what that looks like in the way we currently do sex. So those two electromagnetic rods that I talked about, the positive and negative poles of our sexual centers. For women, positive heart, negative vagina. Energy flows from our heart to our vagina, where for men, it's the other way around. It flows from the penis to the heart. Now, when a man and a woman come together, the energy flows from his penis to her vagina, and then it flows from her heart to his heart. So, and it literally is her energetic field, that negative pole, receiving his positive pole, his penis, as he enters her. And then her heart has the power to open his heart. Mm-hmm. So again, through the act of sex, women have the power to open a man's heart. So it really is, and it becomes a circle 8 motion. It's like the infinity sign. So the energy flows between the two of you. So my husband and I, we don't meditate. Sex has become our source of meditation. We're breathing together. We're flowing the energy together. It's a gifting and a receiving. So it literally is a dance. And when you become aware of your sexual center through some of these sexual fitness techniques, you can become aware of that energy and actually feel it flowing through your body. There's a circuit that goes up the back of your spine, down the front of your body, that you can be aware of and move that energy along your own body if you're self-pleasuring. And then you can intermingle, whatever that word is. Intertwine, that's the word. Right. You can actually learn to intertwine your energy with your partner's energy. Now, the way we do sex today, again, when we force our orgasms, when we contract our muscles, we're actually forcing that energy out of our body. So we're not learning how to channel it in our body and use it for healing, or to channel it into other areas of our life. So with men, they literally ejaculate. So they literally push out their energy, and they contract their muscles. And that's why a lot of tantric and Taoist gurus, they actually talk about not having an orgasm, saving your orgasms. And what they're really talking about is learning how to separate your orgasm from ejaculation. Men can have an orgasm without ejaculating, and that's how they can literally channel that energy through their body and not give it up, not expel it. So oftentimes, 80 to 90% of the time that I have sex with my husband, he doesn't ejaculate, but he has an orgasm. And that also keeps his energy field connected to mine. Where for me, when I orgasm, even though I do orgasm and I do ejaculate because female ejaculation is possible, it's not the same sense that I'm giving away my energy like men do. I'm still flowing and channeling that energy through my body. And for women, we don't lose that life force energy when we have an orgasm or ejaculate the same way men do, because men are literally ejaculating their semen. That is their life force energy. It's also been called their cerebrospinal fluid, the CSF that flows around our spinal cord, which is why a lot of men roll over and fall asleep after they have sex, because now they're tired because they've given up their life force energy. Where if they don't ejaculate, they can actually be energized and go for a run after they have sex.
Okay. Interesting. I'm just fascinated by your every
there's
word.
So much I can give you. I'm like,
And,
oh no, we're coming to an end, and there's so much I want to say.
Well, that just means that there'll be another Let's Talk About Sex show.
There will. And getting back to sexual fitness, whether it's vaginal fitness or for men, I often call it prostate fitness, because for men, the prostate is the male G-spot. But it's men and women need to learn how to strengthen their pelvic floor muscles, because everything that I just talked about, men and women can achieve that with having strong pelvic floor muscles. There's studies showing that men who train their pelvic floor by doing Kegel and strength exercises, by squeezing and relaxing, they actually decreased their ED, erectile dysfunction, and PE, premature ejaculation. So they were able to have a longer erection, they were able to last longer, and they didn't struggle with even trying to get it up. Where with women, they have longer orgasms, they reach orgasm quicker, they become multi-orgasmic, they can learn how to, like I talked about ejaculating, they can learn how to ejaculate, they can tap into their full potential and have 13 different kinds of orgasms. So it all comes back to really learning our body, and it comes to being aware of our sexual center, and that is achieved through vaginal fitness, through sexual fitness for men. And what I do with vaginal fitness is I utilize the jade egg exercises, which is an ancient Eastern Chinese practice where you literally insert a stone egg made of jade, which is a stone, into your vagina, and it has a couple of different purposes. One, it's green. Jade is green. So it's the same color as your heart chakra. So for women, it opens your heart. And like I talked about earlier, your heart has to open for your vagina to open. So it creates that facilitation of opening of your heart, connecting to yourself, inducing self-love, connecting to your feminine energy. Jade also has a lot of healing properties. The Chinese actually valued it more than gold. So it actually can pull out toxins, bacteria, infections, whatever you have going on in your body. Jade actually pulls that out of your body. So oftentimes women have reported that, oh, my vagina kind of smells like bacteria or something down there when I put my jade egg in, because it's actually detoxifying your body. There's also reflexology points inside your vagina, and the stone egg actually massages those points, like going and getting reflexology done on your foot, and it heals all of the organ systems of your body. The other interesting thing to note is that all of your meridians, channels of energy that go through the body, have to go through the sexual center. So any repression that we have in that sexual center is also inhibiting that flow of energy to all of our other organ systems. So there's so many healing benefits of this practice.
Okay, I want to ask you about the jade egg. So is it, I know, we have the jade stones, etc., the crystals. Is this a specific shaped thing, or you have to purchase it specially, or is it just a jade, crystal? The size, would it not get lost? Or
yes, so it is literally the shape of an egg, which is why it's called a jade egg. And they are specifically made for vaginal fitness programs, vaginal exercises, because there's a hole drilled through it, so you can insert dental floss and tie up the dental floss so it's easy to retrieve. There is no way it can get lost. Your vaginal canal is just that, it's a canal. There's no place for the jade to go or to get lost. You do have to learn how to, again, strengthen your pelvic floor muscles to hold it in. And when you go to the bathroom, it's interesting because I talk about your pelvic floor muscles being in 3 different sections. So, you might want to be careful when you go to the bathroom, because you can practice seeing how strong your pelvic floor muscle is by stopping your urine flow when you're going to the bathroom. Those are the muscles that are comprised of your pelvic floor. They literally stop urine flow. So to be able to still urinate and hold the jade again requires you to start separating the different levels of the pelvic floor muscles. So, and that's really how women can start having better orgasms, because they have different levels of their pelvic floor, but oftentimes we group it all into one group of muscles. So I wear the jade egg all day long. I wear it 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day. I've worked myself up to having strong muscles that I can even wear it to the gym and jump rope and run with it in me. Now I will say I've had some embarrassing moments where I'm like, whoops, it's about to fall out.
Oh dear. Because I was actually going to ask, in terms of this training, it must take some length of time, months.
In my vaginal fitness online course, I give you about 20 vaginal fitness exercises, but overall about 40 different exercises to really awaken your sexual energy. And women can do those 5 minutes a day. They can go through I have a 20-minute audio they can listen to where they just put it on and they put the egg in and they just go through all the different exercises for 20 minutes. But wearing your jade egg throughout your day, you can drive in the car and start squeezing your muscles. So it literally is like going to the gym and lifting a weight. That stone egg inside of your vagina is the weight that your pelvic floor muscles have to lift to keep it in. And that's how they truly get stronger versus just squeezing, relaxing, where Dr. Arnold Kegel, actually a lot of his studies on when he developed the Kegels utilized resistance. But Kegels today have just become squeeze, relax. There's no resistance added. So that's where the jade egg comes in. And like I said, there's other healing benefits, which is why I recommend and prefer jade eggs over, say, Benoit balls.
Okay.
Relax in the coaching lounge and engage with compelling, motivational speakers. Be prepared to transform your inner world to shape your outer world through empowering discussions. Tune into thecoachinglounge.co.uk now.
My name is Rebecca Gordon and I'm in the coaching lounge with the fabulous Dr. Shelly Persad, who is really giving me personally a lot of insight, awareness and knowledge about sexual energy. And I think for women it's really important to understand the power that we have in terms of our female sexual power, and to know how to harness it and how to use it and transfer it for us to give the best and to get the best, and to do it in a way which isn't manipulative. It's not overbearing, it's not aggressive, but it's just using our natural female energy. And Dr. Shelly, thank you so much for sharing this amazing insight with us today. Can I ask you, Dr. Shelly, what stops women from harnessing their female sexual power? I know we've touched on quite a few things today, but is it fair to ask you
and there's
that
a couple
specific
things.
question?
Number one, fear. Fear of what other people think, fear of judgment, fear of losing control, fear of fill in the blank. There could be a lot of different reasons for that fear. And then the other thing, that fear ties right into those mental blocks, what we've been told, our belief systems, our programming around sex. We have to be, a good little girl. We're not allowed to, like sex. We're not allowed to enjoy it because that might mean we're bad or dirty based on our upbringing, whether it's a religious upbringing or just a societal upbringing. So there's just a lot of, and all of that is mental blocks. The fear is a mental block as well. So overall, if there was one word for it, I would say mental block. Well, I guess that's 2 words.
Okay, so can I ask then, if that's the case, I'm just wondering, because yes, women can have hang-ups, about sexual energy, etc., and their power, but men can have hang-ups too, and some men can find it quite threatening. So where does a man need to be within himself to support a woman to develop her sexual energy? And how can a man support a woman through that? And, what does a man need to recognize and understand in himself?
I'll use my husband as a great example because he truly is what I try to empower men to step into. He's very masculine. I used to be masculine before I met him because I was one of those women. I'm a businesswoman, I'm a chiropractor, I'm doing it all. I'm doing everything. So I'm very masculine. So he literally is the strongest masculine man I know. And I need that for me to be in my feminine. And when they say opposites attract, you literally have to have that masculine, feminine opposite to create that sexual attraction. So he is that for me, which allows me to surrender, to let go, to just be in my feminine energy, to just relax and surrender to the orgasms. So there's that piece. The other piece is he's not focused on his pleasure. Oftentimes he gives more than he needs to receive because he's not focused on the ejaculation. He's focused more on the pleasure. So oftentimes, like I said, 80 to 90% of the time, he's giving me pleasure, but there is no feeling of, well, tit for tat. I did this for you, therefore you do that for me. There's no, okay, well, I need to have an orgasm now in the sense of ejaculation. So men really need to come into that place of learning what they like as well, because it's not all about the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of sex. They would be a lot more satisfied in their careers and their relationships and their sex life and even feeling like a man when they can have this just massive amount of pleasure from an orgasm and not ejaculate. And it's amazing. It's kind of like when you step outside your comfort zone and you do something that you were fearing for a while, you realize, oh my God, that's not so bad. Wait, I actually like that. I can actually do that more. What? And then you're like, I even had fear about that.
Right. Okay, great. Okay. I'm very conscious of the fact that I've not asked you anything about the 13 orgasms that a woman can have, because I think we need a whole program about that. As well as female ejaculation. So I've purposely withheld from asking more questions about those two areas. But what I do want to know, I need to find out more about your courses, because I know you've got a sexual fitness handbook for men and for women as well. But before we go into that, Dr. Shelly, I've got a question here, and this question is based from a man's perspective. And the question is this: why do women sometimes feel that they cannot or should not initiate sex? And what can a woman do to think differently about this?
And that's where that ties into your last question about what can men do. When men are totally supportive and confident in who they are, and they allow their woman, and they actually push and challenge their woman to explore her sexuality, and if they can also give up that need to be in control, because there might be some men who, they want to initiate all the time. But if you do want your woman to initiate, challenge her, ask her to, start exploring what she likes, what she doesn't like. Maybe even put it out there and go, hey, I'd like for you to initiate that. There's a lot of different tips, tricks, techniques that I can give you. One of the things my husband and I do is we sext each other. So we'll find pictures or images or whatever that we like. We'll sext it to each other because it takes off that uncomfortableness about talking about sex. And then you can put something with the picture of, ooh, I would like to try this. Or he can put something, ooh, I'd like for you to do this. And it really is like, I can look at it and go, wow, cool. Yeah, I can do that. Or I might realize, okay, there's a little bit of fear there. Why would I do that? But then I can play with it in my mind and I can overcome my mental blocks before I actually physically do it.
Yeah, because it sort of like alleviates some of the embarrassment.
But again, coming back to that masculine and feminine, this is why 50 Shades of Grey is so popular. Women want a masculine man to feel like they can let go, they can relax. Because again, if they've been working all day, they're taking care of the kids, they feel like they've been in control all day. And deep down, what they really, really want is to just let go. So they're drawn to that highly masculine man who takes control and embodies the Christian Grey. And that's why they love the book so much, is because they can fantasize about, wow, letting go, relaxing, being that submissive to a man, not in the terms of subservient, but truly submissive. And there is a level where, so for instance, I'm submissive to my husband the way Anastasia is submissive to Christian Grey, but I also initiate sex because I love sex. I enjoy it. I'm willing to embrace my sexuality and take what I want and go, like last night I was willing to ask for what I want. I'm like, honey, I need this right now. And he's more than willing to give it to me. So there's no fear of, if I ask for it, is he going to want to do it? Is he going to like my body? Is he in the mood to say, quote unquote, eat me out? So we oftentimes fear that our partner doesn't want to give us what we ask for. So that's why we don't initiate.
Yeah, so a woman has to move into a level of gaining confidence.
Yes, and the man has to create that space for her to make her feel like she can initiate, she can ask for what she wants. He is going to deliver. He is providing that safe anchor for her to let go and relax.
Okay. And you've given us some tips. Are there any more things, maybe one or two things that you can offer to women to know how to harness their female sexual power? And I know that you do have some courses.
Absolutely.
Maybe you can tell us a bit more about your courses as well.
The biggest tip is really to slow down in life, breathe, let go, relax. I cannot say that enough. Breathe, let go, relax. That is key to changing how you do sex and to actually receiving more pleasure in all areas of your life. Just take a sip of water. This is a quick little exercise that you can play with. Just take a sip of water as though you would take a sip of water any other day. And then I want you to stop, close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths, really become present, shut off your mind, tune into your body, and then take a sip of water. Do you notice that it tastes different? Do you notice that you enjoy it more? Do you notice that you're slower and you're like, wow, I didn't realize this water was cold or hot or had a little bit of a fruity flavor? Or you may notice a lot more details about the water the second time around. And if you can take that exercise and take it into the bedroom, you will start enjoying your sex life so much more. You'll become aware of so many more sensations and touches and caresses and details than you did before, when you were just like taking that sip of water, like you're drinking and you're working and you're multitasking and you're, that's how we do sex. We multitask when we do sex.
Right. That's a great tip, because it's about being in touch with the senses, so you can have the sensations, which I am hoping to get a chance to try that. Amen. Maybe sometime in the future. Absolutely. We'll see how it goes. Yes,
and then the courses. So I have 4 different categories of courses that I offer, or topics that I have resources for. Everything from body love. Again, a lot of women struggle with body image issues, so it's really helping you love your body, because that is key to being in any relationship. If you don't love your body, how can somebody else show up and love your body? So body love is huge. I have courses on relationships, how to create a relationship, how to attract the perfect partner, how to keep a relationship. Doesn't matter if you're single, married, or been married for 20 years, or divorced. I have courses on female sexual fitness, and then, of course, male sexual fitness. So the key course for female sexual fitness is, of course, the vaginal fitness course, where you get the jade egg. And then for male sexual fitness, I'm still in the process of creating some courses, but I do have one course just about understanding women, being the kind of man that she wants in the bedroom. I also have a course for women on understanding men and how to really embrace your sexuality. So I've got lots of different courses. Of course, I have tons of free stuff. I've got 3 or 4 different handbooks, ebooks that you can download, free videos on my YouTube channel. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you specifically about the free giveaways, but back to the courses, because, a lot of our audience members are in the UK.
Yes.
These courses are online. Can people access them online? Yes. Can you tell us where people can go to find out more about those specifically?
www.orgasmicalmedicine.com. It's spelled like it sounds. orgasmicalmedicine.com. And then you can just go under resources. You'll find all the categories there, and you'll find the link to all of the different courses. And all of the courses are video courses, so you can watch the videos on your tablet, your phone, your PC. They also come with MP3 downloads as well as PDF handbooks as well. So there's multiple, there's a lot of value for the courses.
Well, it's great value.
And of course, they come with unlimited access to email me your questions for support, things like that.
Yes. Okay. Great. Okay. And if you can share with us now the free giveaways. I mean, I know you've got
Yes. So I
sexual
have
fitness
a male
handbooks.
sexual fitness handbook, and it's 4 steps to up your sexual game. So it's really that question you asked earlier about what can men do to support women embracing their sexuality. This is the book for men that will give you 4 tips, 4 techniques that you can start using in your life today that's going to up your sexual game if you're single as well as if you're in a relationship. And it's going to help you attract the kind of partner that you want. For women, it's 4 secrets to becoming a wildly orgasmic woman, to really embrace your sexuality, to become a multi-orgasmic woman, to love sex, to enjoy pleasure, to not feel bad or wrong about it.
And sorry, I'm jumping in here because it's great to know that there are just four
Exactly.
secrets, not
It
4,000.
really can be simple. Sex made simple. And then I have a full
Okay.
ebook it's 90 pages, Control Your Sexual Energy. It's about the history of sexual energy, why specifically in America, but I'm seeing it more worldwide as well, why we're so repressed sexually. And then, of course, how you can change that, what you can do to start implementing tools, techniques that I give, how you can embrace your sexuality, whether you're single or divorced or married. So that is just a full ebook, 90 pages of juiciness and deliciousness.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, you must just tell us your website address again,
And
because
then under the
I can
Body
imagine
Love
it's going to be
resources,
hot
I have a
after
Body
this
Love
program.
handbook and a Body Blueprint, which is 7 steps to creating your ideal body. I have those as free giveaways as well. And I'm also in the process of creating a relationship free giveaway, but that'll be up on my website soon.
Right, fantastic, fantastic. And that is
Yes, darling. Yes.
www.orgasmicalmedicine.com. And just before we go, I mean, we've run over time, but hey, I can talk to you for a bit longer. I would like to invite you back on to talk about 13 orgasms and female ejaculation and anything else related to those things specifically, because it is fair to say that, you know, I mean, there's a lot on your website, but just hearing you personally and hearing the additional extra information, you know, just all adds to the content and the context and the value. So thank you so much for your time. And if there is one essential thing that you can share with the audience today, just to leave us with something that we can just take and reflect on, ponder on, and perhaps
Absolutely.
try.
Laugh
What
and
would
have
that be?
more orgasms. Those will bring you into the present moment. They'll shut off your mind. They'll literally catapult you into that meditative state that you may have been trying to get to. You may have been meditating for years and you just don't feel like you're there. Well, you already are there through laughter and orgasm. So have more of that, have it together, blend it together, laugh while you're having an orgasm while you're laughing. And I just want to thank you, Rebecca, for having me on the Coaching Lounge. It's been such a fun call, and I do graciously accept your invitation to come back. I would love to chat with you more about the 13 orgasms and female ejaculation and anything else we can have fun with, because you know I think our personalities can have a lot of fun together.
I think so. I think so. Lovely. Okay. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Shelly
It's been so
Persad. It's been an
fun.
amazing pleasure. Take your place in the Coaching Lounge. Be inspired by discussions with motivational guests, compelling speakers, key people of influence, and models of success. Learn unique processes, strategies, and tips that will transform your life. Tune into previous episodes on www.thecoachinglounge.co.uk. Like our page on Facebook via The Coaching Lounge. Follow us on Twitter @Satellite Coach. Thank you for joining your host, Rebecca Gordon, in The Coaching Lounge. Tune in, relax, engage, and transform your life now.